Hello and welcome to Vlogmas Day 3. It's Wednesday morning, leaving the house, headed to Dunkin' Donuts to get my coffee for the hour drive to the country. Little life update. Everything is still going good. All my returning viewers know that I take my mother to bingo every Tuesday evening. So that's why we stay in town on Tuesday nights, because basically during the winter it's too far to drive at night because it's very dark country roads and there are a lot of deer. So yeah, you hear the noise in the background. I don't know if you can hear it or not. It's my grand dog. She goes with us back and forth to the camper because she belongs to my son that has moved in with my mother to help out with my stepfather. So we're off to get coffee. And then when I get back to the camper, I have to show you. After watching somebody else's Vlogmas yesterday and they opened up the Ruby and Roses Day 1, I completely missed that there was a goodie inside that little compartment. So I will have to show you that when I get back to the camper and open Day 3. See you soon.
Hi, we like trying to candy bus. Shall I say?
No, thank you. I had an app order for Erica.
All right, we'll see you at the window.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And welcome to Day 3 of Ruby and Roses. But before we go to Day 3, let's go back to Day 1 and show you the little gifty that I didn't realize was in there. But I have to start looking deeper into the pockets. Here we go. This is a little hand enrichment body balm type thing, and this is the scent Cranberry Garland. I've had this before, not this particular scent. I try to keep one of these in my knitting bag. Oh, smells so good. If your fingers get a little dry or your hands get a little dry, you just rub a little bit on, a little bit, because a little goes a long way. And this little balm is provided that you don't leave your knitting bag in the car, will last a very long time. Cannot believe that I missed that on Day 1. So now, let's go to Day 3. Pop the little tab in and make our little opening here. Like I said, I'm trying not to rip them. Although I did slightly rip the top of the box when I was pulling it out today. So it may not survive. Number 3. And there is nothing else in that box. Number 3 is Town Folk. That is a very pretty mixture of blue and purple, a slight bit of teal, and some greens. That is a very, very pretty color. And now it is time for day 3 of Arkansas Yarn Company. And today is Hatter's Midnight Velvet. Are we excited to see what's in this bag? I know I am. Let's pop her open and see. Oh, I ripped the bag. I've been ripping a lot of stuff today. Ooh, this one has a goodie in it, so we're going to start with the goodies. Oh, isn't that cute? Sorry for the wrapper crinkle here. Let me open it real quick. And you have a little, this is a tea steeper. You put your tea leaves in here and put it inside of your cup of hot liquid, and it will steep your tea. That is adorable. Absolutely adorable. And it even comes with this little clip here on the side that you can hang right on the side of your tea mug. That is so cute. So, so cute. Close it back together. And then I am going to put it back in here so that it does not come out of the bag. And day number 3, oh my gosh, it is gorgeous. Oh gosh, let me see. Oh, y'all. Oh, it is so, there we go. Look at that purple. That is gorgeous. That is gorgeous. That is a very deep purple. That is so, so pretty. So, so pretty. I already weighed Ruby and Roses. So let's see what Arkansas Yarn Company is today. 20.6, which is exactly what Ruby and Roses was. So we're ahead of the game. So I will be putting that into the spreadsheet. 20.6 for both Ruby and Roses today. I got the Freckled Whimsy. However, I forgot to bring the loom that I wanted to do the socks on. I wanted to bring the Universal Cindy Wood, the Universal hat and scarf loom, so I could do them both, at, 2 at a time without tying up any other looms that I have here with me. I do love that loom, but I will say, if you have one, do not over tighten the wedge wing nut on the bottom. I have 2, and both of them have done the same exact thing. So it's either one of or two one of the other. It's either because I live in a very high humid climate, or it's that I am tightening the wing nut too tight. I know it's not because of the way I store them, because they are on a peg wall. But over time, I can get one wedge to tighten down, but the second one will not stay in place. And the only way to get it to work is my husband has to put a tie wrap in between the pegs. Unfortunately, the tie wrap itself is just slightly bigger than a 1/4 inch. However, with them being nylon pegs, I have found that it has not made that much of a difference. So that's just a little bit of advice. If you get that loom, don't over tighten it. Because like I said, I've got 2 and they both have done the same exact thing. And again, it could be that I live in a very high, humid area. South Carolina is very, very humid, very humid. So all that to say, I forgot the loom. And so I'm not going to be casting on the socks because I don't want to tie up the other looms. And I want to be able to do them both at the same time. So I will show you the yarn. The Freckled Whimsy advent is not really a mystery or a surprise advent. There are a couple other yarn dyers that specialize in yarn stripes that do theirs as a mystery. It already comes caked up, and then you just knit until you see like a little bit of almost like a color shift. They've got all the directions. But this particular one is not a mystery, and it is, I believe, it is 24 stripes. So you're going to have 24 different colors. And with her gauge on knitting needles, she averaged about 6 to 7 rounds per color, per stripe. So I'm anxious to see how many we will actually get on the loom. I don't know if you have knit a lot of socks on the needles and then shifted over to the looms, or you're just watching to learn about the looms. But what I have found in my experience is that I use less yarn on the loom to make a pair of socks than I do if I was to needle knit them, which is about average because I use a US 1 2.25 millimeter knitting needle, and the 1/4 inch gauge loom is, the comparison to the needles is slightly bigger. So you would use less yarn. However, the stitches seem tighter. So just a little bit of, nerdy information there if that interests you. That you may or may not use less yarn. And again, it all depends on the pattern, how many stitches you're in your loom, that kind of thing. But back to the advent. So this is a 24 stripe advent. And she includes all the instructions in this on how to get started. She did things a little different this year. Last year, some people the way that they got their skeins, some people were starting at one end where others were starting at the other. And to me, that didn't, I still have mine from last year that I haven't even opened yet. And I know exactly where it is. Anyway, all that to say, everybody is starting at the same end this year, so that there's no like spoilers on future colors and how it looks. But nonetheless, I got the one that has the mini that came with it for, I think it's just for toes and heels, or it might just be for the heel. I mean, obviously you could do it any way you want. Yeah, it says the mini skeins are not a surprise and are left separate from the main self-striping, just in case you want to get a head start on your cuffs or toes before December 1st. So as we know, Erica did not get a head start. So I guess depending on how long you want your socks to be, you could really do this on with the cuff. I don't know. But I will give you a little bit of a hint, a tip, if you will. When you are knitting on the loom and or on needles, and you are doing a cuff or any kind of rib stitch or anything that has I shouldn't say anything that has a purl in it, because you wouldn't want to do this on lace. But I mean, you might, it just depends on the pattern. But anyway, when you come to the next color change and you're still on the cuff, instead of doing knit, purl, knit, knit two, purl two, do a complete round of knit. You're not going to notice that change with just that one round. And what that does is it makes the purl bumps on that next row be the same color that you're working on instead of the color before, and it kind of looks funky. Those purl bumps look funky when you change colors. I don't like them. I know it doesn't bother some people, and I don't know that it necessarily bothers me. I just don't like it. So I go that extra step of knitting that round to just not have to worry about seeing them, because I don't like it. Okay. Here is the yarn. Freckled Whimsy 2025 Advent 24 stripe skein, and it is called Splendid. It is 85% superwash merino, 15% 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon, 100 grams, and the mini is supposed to be 25 grams. So, we are going to weigh so that we can put the exact amount into our spreadsheet. Let me go ahead and put this yarn from Arkansas Yarns Advent back in the bag and set this over here. So if you are getting this Advent and you do not want to see the complete skein, look away, because I'm getting ready to show it right now. Obviously, we're not going to be able to see the way that it is wound up, what colors first, and, all that fun stuff. But we're going to get an idea. Okay, here we go. I am showing the color now. Isn't that pretty? I actually cannot wait to get this casted on. I wish I would have brought that loom. Like, I might drive in tomorrow morning just to get that loom. Okay, you can look back now if you looked away and did not want that spoiler. Let's go ahead and weigh these. And I don't know if I ever mentioned that you should take the ball band off of the yarn when you're weighing it, because you don't want the extra weight from that ball band to be included in the weight of the yarn. Okay, this is supposed to be 100 grams. Let's see what it is. Da 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 da, 118.7. Hopefully by me weighing these skeins and talking about it, you can kind of see more what I've been saying, that sometimes You may come up short, but sometimes you come up way ahead. So it all balances itself out. And it also kind of gives you a better idea of, you know what? Dadgummit, I need 110 yards to make that, or 110 grams to make that shawl that I really wanted to make. You know what? I have in my spreadsheet that the yarn from blah, blah, blah was 120 grams. So I can use that one skein instead of having to buy another one. And a little bit more of a tidbit, or a tip, if you will. When a designer puts in their materials notes, when a designer puts in their material notes and they may say 107 grams of yarn, typically a designer will put in a 10 to 15% buffer. So that helps for people that have a different gauge. It helps for ensuring that you have enough yarn. It also ensures she may have started off with a tail this long and you may have started off with one this long. She may have carried her yarn and you may have cut. So that 10 to 15% buffer allows, hopefully, the maker to have enough yarn for said project. So the reason I say that is because that shawl may say 107 grams and you know that your skein from the local yarn shop had 118 grams. You're still going to have enough. Even at the 107, you should still have enough, and you may only use actually 100 grams. So just keep that in mind. Keep an eye on your gauge swatch. Make sure that if the pattern does call for one, that you are swatching to help ensure that you do have enough yarn. Okay, let's weigh the mini. And the mini is 25.2. So we are ahead of the game for, Freckled Wednesday. I am going to wrap this back up. So let me pause this video just a second so you guys don't hear all that crinkling. Okay, so that, I think I'm going to end this here. I showed you guys that I went through Dunkin' Donuts and got my coffee. I tried a new blend today. They have the peppermint mocha. I didn't care much for it. So it was more mocha than peppermint. So I waited till I got back to the camper and I put a little splash of my sugar-free coconut cream in it. Now it tastes good. So I have some yarn. Of course I do. I got my Yarnable subscription, and then I got a package in the mail from a very dear friend who happens to be a yarn dyer and owns her own business. So I am going to be actually doing a separate video we're going to be doing it for Thursday. Oh, I know. Are you guys enjoying the bloopers at the end? All right, guys. Until next time, stay happy, stay cozy, and may all your socks find their matches. Bye.
Ho ho!
got a package in the mail from a very dear friend who happens to be a yarn dyer and owns her own business. So I am going to be I'm not wrapping anything. Tuesday of the yarn unboxing. Did I say Tuesday? I meant Thursday. I don't know what day I said.